my goodness. Wow.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. You've got to be
They
kidding me.
stole a run. You have got to be kidding me. Javi Baez.
Keep going. Go.
Check away, and now the counter. Here come the Caps. Kuznetsov gets loose. Evgeny coming down the middle. A shot, and it comes in over. He scores! He scores!
And they start with a horrible snap all the way back to the 2-yard line, and the Browns bounce it into the end zone where they wind up with a touchdown. Of all crazy things, you don't go to the playoffs for 18 years, and that is the way it starts in the first 14 seconds.
Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio right here in the Municipal Building. Dave Cable had to come in, get us started. We're without any volunteers. This has only happened maybe 3 or maybe 4 times in the past. We have all this live streaming, internet, YouTube, Facebook, you name it, plus TV. I used to know how to turn it on and turn it off. I don't have a clue. I trusted everybody else. And we're going to wing it a little bit. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine, Smoking Jim Frazier, Mike Rohde, Steve Crisani. And we're going to start it without any promos, but I got to show at least 2 of them that I have here, and I'll talk about them. I don't know if you can get a good view of it because I'm holding it up, but you understand I'm holding something. This is the new Bethel Park Elementary School opening gala. Benefit the Bethel Park Education Foundation. Dinner, entertainment, and adventure. Join us for a special evening to celebrate the beginning of a new adventure in Bethel Park schools. All right, tickets are available at Saturday, August 29th, 6 p.m. Formal attire. The new address is Bethel Park Elementary School, 5655 Kings School Road. Tickets are $75. You add $100 for a passport adventure. Tickets available at EV Hardware, BP Public Library. I'm VP on the board there. And the School District Administration Building, cash or checks only. They hired me to sell 50-50 raffle tickets. I won awards and everything else for that. I'll be wearing a white tuxedo t-shirt and pants. And get your 50-50s. It's usually $10 for 15 tickets. Be there. I'll see you there then. August 29th. All right, next one up. I'm a Bethel Park Community Foundation trustee, and I've been doing it for years. And I'm the musical director this year, so I'm honored to be doing that. And we have the Bethel Park Art and Music Festival, July 25th. I created the opening night reception at the Bethel Park Community Center, Friday, July 24th, 5 to 7 p.m. The BP Art and Music Festival celebrates local creativity, brings together community members of all ages, and spotlights the incredible artist talent in our area. There's 4 artists for America 250 paintings that we have with Bethel Park themes. One of them is Linda Bonacart. Others, Maria De Simone Prasak, John O. Prasak, and J.P. DeRoll. They'll be there. Then I'm co-hosting this event with my friend Jessica Lee, saxophonist Emmy Award winner Eric DeFade, and Rick Gallagher, a musical director at one of the biggest churches in the North Hills. And you got the talking machine there telling people to get 50-50 tickets, and we're doing a special live streaming show. I've done over 50 of them with Jessica Lee called By Request. We're filming the music and we're interviewing the artist, or I'll be interviewing the artist. So that'll be live streamed from 5 to 7. All are welcome. We're working on some maybe refreshments there. So come on out for a fun evening. If you want to avoid the 5,000 plus people that have come the last 2 years, come out Friday night. We'll probably only have 100 people or so, and we'll have some fun. And you can buy and donate money to the Bethel Park Community Foundation. We've given out over $1 million in 28 years, and this all goes to local people in our area and different groups. We have scholarships for children here. when they graduate college and move on to the future. So come on out and learn more about this. A great fundraising event, July 24th, 5 p.m. Come on out. Plenty of parking. All right, let's go to Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine. I tell you what, man. I had a bunch of hot dogs on the grill. This is going to come in handy, brother.
Oh, really?
For Memorial Day. Al Levine, the
Oh,
talking
Smoking Jim, disclaimer. He went the Gateway. Memorial Day passed.
But I still got some hot dogs left.
I know, but
He was talking about next Memorial Day.
that'll keep. That'll keep with all the preservatives in there. That'll
Al
keep.
Levine, the talking machine. My brother that lives in Charlotte, North Carolina,
What's his name?
Eric.
Okay.
Is a huge, great athlete. My brothers were great athletes, Scott and Eric.
How big is he?
They weren't big.
You said
They were
huge.
a huge Pirate fan. So him and his wife went to Toronto to see the Pirates play.
Guess who else did?
Did you go to
Yeah, we
Toronto?
were in
Y'all was down there
Toronto.
too.
Yeah.
Up
The
there.
day he
It's
went,
up there.
he said
Canada's
it
up there.
It was 47 degrees, wasn't high. It was raining all day, but they got the dome.
I
So
was at
they
the same
really-
game on Saturday. Yeah,
Saturday,
we were
the
there.
Pirates got blown out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait till I
unfortunately.
tell him that Mike was here.
That's
man.
pretty funny.
Wow, you guys probably sat next to each other, didn't even know. Was it you sit next to a black?
No,
No.
sorry.
Al Levine, the talking machine, and he usually comes back to Pittsburgh once a year, stays with me to go watch Skeens play, Paul Skeens. So
Why do you lie like that?
what do you mean?
You never ever once told me any of that.
Well, I'm telling now.
You are the most secretive best friend I ever had.
He loves.
What do you
big
do
old-
for a living? And when was that article written about you? You were a great receiver.
Oh, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And lastly, I'm happy that the Penguins re-signed Mo. Keep them together. You're not going to win anyway, so you might as well keep the team.
You know, since this is uncut, he's my best friend. He doesn't know baseball. He doesn't know hockey. Yager and Ovechkin are his two favorite players for numerous other reasons. Kit Kats and a one-shot trick pony. But other than that, when he talks about baseball, how did he miss out on even playing baseball when his brother, now I learned something new about him because he said, I know more about him than anybody. His brother's a huge Pirate fan.
Yes, he is.
And Smoking Jim never played baseball, but he acts like he did. So I got to disclaim all this. He doesn't represent me, BPTV, Bethel Park. You got to contact him. He got those out of the back trunk of a car. So look at how nice he looks. Bull Laura said, hi, Jim. Ann Harder said, hi, Mike. Diane Mariano Rody's watching. Pirates are up 5-1, Smoking Jim.
Wow.
Teresa Mariano and Michael Mariano's watching. Thank you. Linda Kroll, hi from Bucks County. All right, we got all the people watching. You want to carry on. And the other disclaimer is he's not racist. Other people that come up to me and ask that all the time, I'd give you his phone number, but it's text only. What else do you want to say?
That was it.
That was good. And you look good saying it. What you said wasn't that good. But except for your great brother and his family down there, who you visited last year, not once did I hear a mention about any Pirate games. He's a strange best friend. All right, Mike Rohde, what's on your mind?
Well, first of all, I'd like to do a shout out for a friend of mine's birthday. He is a spry young 106 years old today. Nick Scarlatelli.
World
of
War
Carrot.
II vet.
World War II
He's still
veteran.
living?
He's still alive. 106 today.
See,
106
Gateway
today.
never did math. He doesn't understand what 106
That's
years from
that's
this
a
would
difficult concept to wrap your head around. Imagine the things that man has seen. Yes, he fought in World War II in the Navy, I believe. I'm pretty sure because he was on a battleship. And
be.
actually,
Well, that means he's a Navy
yeah,
guy.
I would assume.
Like my
I'm not
son
sure how
is.
well that crossed over or not, but
No,
he
it
told
did.
me a story once about he actually
Was he at
figured
Pearl Harbor?
out. No, he wasn't. He was on a battleship. He figured out a way. I don't remember the details, but it was impressive.
Tell us, I love
to make
history.
the turret gun to make it go faster.
Yeah.
So they could shoot at the enemy planes a little
Was
bit
it
better.
WD-40?
Maybe I'll have to ask him. But he's a heck of a guy. Up until a few years ago, he was cutting his own grass and lifting weights and everything. If he was sitting here, he'd be talking just like anybody else. Yeah, he is one of my favorite people.
He's still
When did he
alive?
stop driving his car?
I don't think he drives any longer.
Okay, because
but-
I got to ask that about Smoking Jim. We actually don't know his
You know why?
age.
You know why he stopped driving though?
No.
Because his engine light came on. But anyway,
Mike, that was perfect.
what I wanted to talk about is just basically some thoughts about the Pirates in general. They're
right.
2 games over
You know
500.
it's Bucko season, yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're on their way to 3 over. Chip and I went back and forth about this last week. It got me thinking. He's right. Would I take 3 games over 500? Absolutely. Right, compared to everything we've had of recent. And it's not like one of those fluke starts when you just knew the bottom was going to fall out because of, Connor Joe wasn't going to keep hitting 360. You know what I mean? So now they've
Mike,
got some
I gotta
legitimate
correct you. Ann Harder said Nick was Air Force.
Air Force. There you go. So
Thank you, Ann
thank you,
Harder.
absolutely.
If she doesn't know history, nobody
That's
does.
a great point. That is an absolute great
See,
point.
I know who she is. Our friend Mario Tempest, longtime fan of Pittsburgh Sportsline. Hello, gentlemen. Back at you, gentlemen. Mario.
So my thoughts. Pirates.
Lay them on us.
First of all, I'd like to know exactly what it is they're trying to do this year. And I don't envy them, right? Because they're trying to win now because they got Skeens, right? But they don't really have the wherewithal to win now in this backwards, upside-down league where the Dodgers pay $700 million deferred to someone. You know what I mean?
No
It's
pun
like,
intended. It's not an equal
yeah,
playing
so, but I get it, and I think they actually do have an interesting mix of veterans, and I like the pipeline they have of kids coming up. But I'd like to hear exactly what it is what is considered a success this year, right? It's like, I don't know. I'd like to hear someone say it and kind of quit beating around the bush about it. Because, and here's why I say that, because when the trade deadline comes around, if they're still 2-3 games over 500, what do? Do they acquire? Are they a buyer or are they a seller? It's going to be very interesting.
You'll have to wait for Chip to be
It
back
depends
with
on
you.
have
the
to
rest
wait.
of the division.
Well,
It's the best division in baseball.
that's my point. Like, where are they? It depends. Forget the record.
Yeah.
Where are they sitting? If they can strike at a wild card spot, which with that starting rotation, you got Skeens, Keller, and Ashcroft, 3 guys rotate. That's not a bad way to go into the playoffs.
Except for
so
one-
if they're close, do they add on?
Except for one thing.
What's that?
Bullpen.
Well, I'm getting to that.
I didn't want to jump ahead
I'm
because I
getting
was
to
a
that.
pitcher.
Here's one
I
thing-
knew complete games. They
Well,
won't today.
speaking of pitchers, here's one thing I think they need to stop doing so much. I know they don't hit lefties very well, but they have to stop putting their best players on the bench in an effort to see who can win. We were up there on Saturday. I looked at the starting lineup, and I happened to notice that Lau and O'Neal Cruz were not in the lineup,
They're lefties.
right? And okay, I get it, but
Chip went over.
I would rather fight my way out of that paper bag with some proven hitters than with let's get the next AAA call up to see if they can hit a lefty.
Well-
So I'm hoping they kind of figure out
I
that
have to give you a little thing. Being older, we didn't care whether you were facing a righty or lefty. We didn't care about a pitch count. We were taught the more you throw, the stronger you get.
well, that's
Just
kind
like
of where
when
I'm,
you, just
where
like
I'm going.
I know that. That's why I had to preempt you.
I'm not a very old school guy, but I'm a little old school when it comes to that. I
Guess
think
what?
you can
I'm old.
overthink.
I'm old and I lived it.
You can overthink
and
that.
The other thing that you have to realize is you go through it. Smoking Jim doesn't know it. He thought he was Vita Blue. But when you go through a lineup, there's a first time, there's a second time,
Right.
and a third time.
Right.
Guess what happens? Smoking Jim thinks he could hit me. I'll throw even at my age, and I'd strike him out. But the pitchers give up little tells. Anybody that's played poker, there's different tells. Once they go a second time, they know Skeens is throwing 99 to 101. Guess what they do? They figure they're going to get a fastball at least once or twice.
A lot of guys have
And
said
guess
it
what?
comes down to guessing.
And that's what they do. Pete Rose would tell you he was guessing on the pitches because of what he saw. All the hitters, if you played baseball more than in fantasy leagues or whatever.
Well, the tell is the big thing.
Yeah.
If they can see that.
Right.
Like if you have a pitcher like Greg Maddux back in the day, his pitches looked exactly the same no matter who was throwing.
Yeah.
So
And he didn't throw hard.
They had to guess.
He never threw hard, but
Yes.
I remember
He had
somebody
control.
saying, I can't remember who it was, they're like, okay, I struck out against him, but you know what? He doesn't have anything. He was easy. I'll get it. Next thing you know, they're 0 for 5 against him. The guy was just really
Well, the
crafty
reason-
with incredible control.
The reason being, you hear Chip say it and I say it, you learn the pitch. Like I threw hard, but when I got older, I threw a curveball, slider, and
Not
a
just
changeup.
throwing, pitching. Yeah.
Then what I learned at a young age, upper right, lower left, lower right, upper right, straight down the middle.
Location.
Yeah.
And
It's all
like
about
in real
control.
estate, all you realtors, location on your pitches. So when I come inside on Smoking Jim, 2 times smoking it, the next time I'd throw my slowest fastball outside and he'd miss it
You wouldn't get it.
because he was off a foot off the
Be
plate.
over the
I'll tell you what, nothing amazes me more, and I'm still in awe of this, that somebody can throw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball from 60 feet, 6 inches away,
Yeah.
and hit a box that big.
I did it.
That is something that just
You're talking to a
will
guy that
never,
did it and knows it.
Well,
That's why I know.
I don't think, I'm not sure I've ever thrown a strike in my life. Every time I ever tried to pitch, I was, never anywhere close. I'm always in awe of that.
Well, imagine I could throw it right under your chin
Well,
and not hit you.
and I'd charge the mound, Al. Okay, so anyway, so
Guess what? I'd have given you the forearm down.
Ozuna, what do you do with this guy, right? They're paying him a lot of money. I didn't like the signing because he came off to me as a guy in a downward trend. I know he starts late, but we're a third of the way through the season, right? I mean, how much time are we going to give the guy?
Till the summer.
He's still striking out like crazy. He gets a timely hit once in a while, no doubt about it. But, I appreciate the fact they were getting offense. But O'Neal Cruz was born to be a designated hitter, right? That's definitely his future.
Well, especially end of his career.
What do you do with Ozuna? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Mike, here's
what
what you
what
have to
happens
wait.
this-
You have to
yeah.
wait a month till summer.
Yeah, then we'll see.
I
But
think what bothers me about them is this day off stuff that they do.
Oh, don't even get me
Too
started.
many days off.
don't even get 22-year-old guy already gets a day
Exactly.
off
Exactly.
for playing baseball. I could understand if he's playing highlight or something. He's playing baseball, for crying out loud.
You're out there for 9
Don't get
innings,
me
standing
started.
for
I
a
should
little while,
I
then
should
you
have
come
noted
back,
that.
sit down,
Yeah.
do your bat.
Thank you.
And to me, you're when you take that, you put lesser players in those positions.
insane.
remember, You're conceding the game.
it's-
You
it's
need every
insane to me.
game you can get. Do the Dodgers do that?
No.
All these, but the Pirates. Oh well, we're going to give him. He needs a day off.
It's crazy. When they already get one built in,
It's
the
insane.
season's only 5 months long.
Chip
Don't get me
Hayner's-
started.
Chip Hayner's tuning in. You have to hear Mike's updates. Oh, you missed a few minutes of it. He's going through his list right now.
All right, I'm almost done. Skeens has set such a high bar for himself that he had 2 okay starts, and it's the end of the world. It's like, I just had to note that. I think it's hilarious. His previous 2 starts, he went into the 6th inning with no hitters. The last 2 starts, he's looked mortal. And what's the problem with Paul Skeens? It's like, he set a pretty high bar for himself. Bullpen. This is a huge problem. They're not even going to be in contention unless they do something about this. And they cannot wait till the trade deadline to do it. Now, Majinski going into the bullpen when Jared Jones is back Majinski's not going to like it, but that's where he's best suited
Well, he
because
was a
he's
reliever,
outstanding when he goes through the lineup one time. He's outstanding, to your point, right? But
That's why I know
gonna,
baseball.
That's going to be, he's going to be a huge, huge help there. But as far as closing, the 2 guys they got, Soto and his name went right out of my head.
Yeah.
Yes, not good, not improving, and not getting better. What do they do with Henry Davis? I don't know. The guy's not even hitting his weight, and
He had a homer
has
the
no
other
power.
day.
He does. Great defensively, but you'd have hoped the number 1 overall pick would have been able to figure out at least how to bat above the Mendoza line at this point. He does hit the ball well. I'll say that a lot. He hits it well. He gets a hold of it a lot, so maybe it's just needs to start getting luckier, 5 feet this way, 10 feet that way. We'll see. Why are they obsessed with playing Jared Trio? Why? Whenever they give somebody off, guess who they plug in? Jared Trio. Good defensive guy, and he's a good kind of guy to have on your team if you're a championship level team. Off the bench, right? Defensive substitution. Not an everyday player. I don't understand why they are obsessed with that guy. Couple last quick ones. Pleasant surprise, Spencer Horowitz. Unpleasant disappointment, Brian Reynolds. Not that he's bad. I keep waiting for this guy to explode and become the guy I thought he was going to be when they traded McCutchen for him. He's a middle-of-the-road guy. He's a dime a dozen player.
His stats
better than average.
Actually show
but
he's a good average player.
Yeah.
And guess what? We had to pay somebody to keep him here.
Yeah, I agree. Future star Connor Griffin, no doubt. Hopefully future star O'Neal Cruz. Extend them now, Brandon Lowe and O'Hearn. And a 10-year rock player, Nick Gonzalez. Someone they should sign right now to a 10-year career because that guy is going to be a 300 and 330 hitter for the next 10 years.
There we go.
Those are my Pirate notes.
I like that. Very good. Good updates. Paul Haley enjoying the show from North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I remember going to Myrtle Beach on a band. I was one of the chaperones. We saw the minor league team from Myrtle Beach play a Pirate team. I talked to legendary band director, Mr. B. He let me and about 15 students with another guy that were sports guys. We saw some great games. We had boiled peanuts. The shows and stuff in between innings were great. And more kids kept saying, Mr. Levine, can we go to the next game? I go, we're leaving in a day or two. But it was fun down there. Thanks for tuning in. Our Rochester, New York people, hello to all. Interesting show, handsome panel. Watching from Rochester, New York, Nick and Peggy Rohde. Thank you for tuning in. Chief McElroy, raging is on fire. That's pre-raging. Come on. All right, I caught up with everybody, and we're good here. All right, Steve Crisanti, what's on your mind? We missed you.
I'm glad to be back. I have a couple points I want to make about the Steelers here. First off is when Aaron Rodgers decided to come back.
Yeah.
The thing that I look at that is I say that was the worst thing that could happen to this franchise. Because we all know they're not going anywhere. And
What's their record going to be?
9-8, 8-9.
Maybe 10-7?
Maybe, and then another loss in the playoffs.
I'll bet on that right now.
I mean,
Smoking, put the money on.
So the way I look at it is the way people talk about
We didn't
this
script
is,
this either.
well, he's going to have a better offensive line. He got another receiver now. And I'm like, oh, that's all well and good, but, you know, there's this thing called injuries. Okay? Could happen on the offensive line. Yeah. Could happen to him. Could happen to a receiver. To sit there and hear people say, well, he knows it's his last year and he's going to stand in the pocket more and take those hits. Are you kidding me?
At 43.
At 43, he won't last. And to me, I'm looking at those different kind of factors and saying, this isn't a good thing. This just puts off what's going to happen next year when he's gone. You have two young guys. I'd rather see what they have because you're going to have to make a selection next year, which could possibly be a quarterback. The fact that they did this just sets us back another year. So for every year you do that, that's literally 2 years that you're going to be set back.
Makes sense.
Because if these two kids that they got now, these two young quarterbacks, aren't it, that means you're going to bring a rookie in here next year that you drafted high. Well, you got to develop them. Where are you going then? Where are you going next year? Nowhere. And this fantasy that the fan base has because we got another receiver and we got a couple linemen now and we're going to be great and they talk about this. This is insane. This is a team that's so far away from going to the Super Bowl, and I just get mad when I hear, well, we just want to get in the playoffs and win one playoff game. I ain't here for that. I'm here for the Steelers used to compete for a Super Bowl. They don't always get there.
Well, they talk about doing that.
And they act like they do, but we all know that isn't the case. The bar has been lowered so far, and this is considered acceptable. And now we're going to go into this year with this 43-year-old quarterback, hoping he don't get hurt, hoping there's no other injuries, and everything goes right on offense, and everything goes right on defense. When does that happen? When does it really happen?
That'll be the first time this year.
I mean, it doesn't. You got two really aging guys on the defense, one on the line and one at the linebacker position. So who's to say that they don't miss significant time? And one of them really hasn't played the way he had in previous years. So, and you're paying him all that money on top of it all too. So I just think that they just keep making these mistakes, and it's just these decisions that are just going to keep setting the team back. And we could literally, next year, if that's the case, we could be at the bottom of the division. Cleveland could be ahead of us, because they got a really good defense. I think they just got better. Their offensive line looks like it's going to be better. They just need a quarterback. So they're in the same boat as us, you know. And if they're picking ahead of us, they could probably get a quarterback where next year we could be the ones missing up, you know. Because I don't think they're going to pass up a quarterback to draft like Kellen Winslow Jr. when the Steelers selected Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, really, think about it.
Don't underestimate the Browns.
But this is the thing that concerns me, and I'm like, are we really going to continue to go down this path?
Yes.
And you have so many people in this city that are buying and drinking this Kool-Aid and think, oh yeah, we're going to be great. And I just don't see it. I mean, I think they'll have a good running game, but you know, who's to say that turns out that way anyways? Everything's an if.
See, let me ask you a question, and I'm not even necessarily saying I disagree with you, but if you were in charge, what would you do?
Honestly, if I was, I would not have had Rodgers come back. I would have came back this year, and I would have said, we got a receiver that helps our receiving core. We still need help there because Roman Wilson is your fourth receiver. What has he done? So we got to find someone that's going to be cut.
Didn't we get a nice receiver there, third round or something?
Yeah, he's your third receiver, though.
Yeah, okay.
So you need a fourth receiver is
Just
Wilson.
wanted to verify
yes.
that. Yeah.
So I would have said, we're going to go with Rudolph and the two young guys. We're going to see what happens with him at the beginning of the year, but most likely I would be like, I'm going to let the two young guys play. I'm going to let them play and see what they got. Because the only way you find out what you got is you have to let them play. Exhibition. If you don't let them play.
Exhibition game.
Exhibition ain't enough. Because we saw Kenny Pickett look good in exhibition, and he wasn't.
True enough. I'll just say
exhibition, no defense.
It's
start Will Howard in the first game. You're all saying he's going to be McCarthy's guy.
A lot of people say they're fine with that, but everybody loses their mind when they win 5 games. You know,
I'm okay with it.
I'm not even disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is, and I mentioned this last week.
Yeah.
When you do that, all of a sudden you're the Jets.
Yeah.
You know, when I don't ever want to see this team get out of the mentality that we're going to do the absolute may not be the right decision, but what they feel is the best option.
Do you know when they're the Jets?
Every year.
If it's every year. 1 year.
That's no guarantee, man.
I know
they
it's no
could
guarantee,
get the number 3 pick and take a
sometimes
quarterback,
you have
and that
to
person could
see
bomb.
what you got.
Get Ryan Leaf.
Because right now you're not going to know. You do not know what you have in Aller and Howard. So you're going to have to go into it next year with probably drafting a quarterback if he makes it to the 21st pick again, because they always
maybe
pick
22nd.
And then you're going to have those two guys, and you're going to be up in the air then. So
And
you're going to tell me next year they're not going to finish low because in 2000
they're going
because
to
they're going to have those 3
next year. Yeah.
So why not? Why not do it this year? Because the other issue that you're going to have, if you're picking 21st again, you're going to have to take a boatload of draft picks from 27 and 28 and maybe even 29 to move up to get that quarterback. And there's no guarantee on it. Rather than if you went into this year, you might end up 6 and 11, and not you're picking 10 or 11, and it's easier to move up. You're not expending a lot of capital to do it. Doing it this way, you're just, cutting your nose off to spite your face.
I'm not even saying I disagree with you. I'd rather be a Steeler fan this year than a Dolphins fan.
Well, I mean, I was listening to the radio the other day, and if people keep calling up and saying that, they would rather them see that dude. You know how it is when we get into the playoffs. They start winning, and if we're not in the playoffs and we've only got 5 wins, suck it up, grow a pair,
Buttercup,
and just 1 year, and let's see what happens.
Well, I tell you what, it's going to be a fun year. Don't forget. Normally, I might even agree with you, Steve.
This isn't normal, so go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta disagree because number one, the guy that
I had to bring it
the
up.
guy that wrote the offense that they're implementing is Aaron Rodgers. His success, he can close his eyes and run that offense. They're bringing in an offense that made him one of the top 5 quarterbacks in NFL history. And now you got the weapons. Anybody can get hurt, but if they stay healthy, that offense is going to look so much different. He played well last year in an offense that didn't even fit him. And
the Cro-Magnon offense.
The defense, talent-wise, on paper, the defense is every bit as good as Cleveland. Maybe now with a new defensive coordinator, maybe you'll get more out of the defense than you should. I think the defensive line stinks. But other than that, I think the Steelers on paper, on their defense, who knows? Maybe we might get 19, 15, and 19 sacks from T.J. Watt, the greatest player in Steeler history. So, and now they tried to address the special teams, and I think the division has gotten weaker. Baltimore is not the same. Cleveland is beatable, and Cincinnati is beatable. And Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, it could be stairway to 7.
Well, I don't think that's.
But
here's the thing to think about. I think just like last year, Rodgers had some good games and he had some bad games, and the most common reason that he had the bad games was he went up against teams that could rush the passer, and he could not throw the ball, wait back there and throw. He had to get rid of it quick. And I think you're going to see the same thing when they're playing a team like Philadelphia or the Texans.
And they play Philly, too.
Yeah, exactly.
I would counter that, however, by saying the teams that shut the Steelers down were the ones that triple-teamed DK Metcalf. Clearly. That's what Houston did. And look, now that we have a real offense, a real NFL like 2000, something not from the 90s, they can check down, they can throw. They're going to have a. That's what I'm hoping. I could be wrong.
No,
I think. Look, players don't typically get better when they're 42 to 43. But I really would like to see him with these weapons, with a real offense. Think about the offensive coordinators that were here. The philosophies that were here. I mean,
they were bad,
horrible. There's no talent.
Maybe the Steelers could get 2 more years.
I mean, it was pathetic. You guys heard me rant for the last 2 seasons about the lack of talent on the offense. They just ignored it. Tomlin's philosophy was get to the fourth quarter and win 10-6. Yeah. That was his philosophy. Yeah. Don't lose. Don't turn it over. Don't turn it over.
In 2008, when the defense could stop everybody. And the offense at Roethlisberger was, could get them the win at the end of the game and all that. And he refused to look at it any differently. I mean, look at some of you're right. It was terrible to have that philosophy throughout the majority of his career as the head coach here, and some of the offensive coordinators who were just garbage.
Randy
Fichtner.
Right. Just not qualified.
Ben's friend. That's
not qualified.
All he was. Ben's friend.
Yeah, well, he did well with that. Hey,
you know,
we got a buddy of yours, Rick Piscatelli.
Rick Piscatelli.
Raging Road Eye.
There you go. That's my
We
man,
got
my
that.
high school buddy.
Paul Haley. The baseball team in Myrtle Beach is the Pelicans. I recall that. The Chicago Cubs AAA team. Yeah, it was a great game. I forget who won, but the food was delicious. Hot
Pirates
dogs and
lost.
everything else.
Pirates lost.
Smoking Jim, he's the most negative guy that promotes a team in Pittsburgh. That's why he's our resident comedian. Thank you. Thanks for all your insight. I agree with
stuff.
98.2% of them because I'm worried about the offensive line. They moved them all around. Only one guy's in the same position,
and-
Frazier.
And Smoky Jim
Down
said
goes
they
Frazier.
should cut that first-round pick already.
I
So
know.
that's a.
I
You know,
know.
I mean, to me, if that's the case, you're in trouble. when
That
the
guy's going to
offensive
be
Let-
all
line-
pro
let me
in year
bring
2,
Howard
Jim.
Cosell.
All pro in year 2.
Broderick Jones, they said he looks more like he's 160 or 265 pounds. He's,
Yeah.
That was a bust.
Can't lift weights. Can't do. What are you
As
doing?
Howard Cosell would say, down goes Frazier. All right, we're going to move on to what's on your mind, Al. A lot of what they said, these guys are watching the same stuff I am.
There's not much going on these days.
I know, and I'm not watching the NBA. I see a couple things on Wemby, and I see a couple things on the Knicks, but the NBA doesn't really excite me with all the running and pushing and flailing around and whatever, just how games are called. And the hockey, without the Penguins, I'm just lost because they did well this year. And then I'm in the car and I'm listening to that Madden guy, and they're talking about Malkin signed up again for one more year.
Why not?
And Smoking Jim, again, doesn't know hockey. Malkin was in some of the best shape. He's always been a good athlete. He's a mad Russian. He gets hurt all the time. And then he has one flaw. He makes stupid errors in a game. And he's on the point. Smoking Jim doesn't know what a PP is, a power play. When you make a pass errant and they take it down 1 on none, that's a bad sign. He's known for that. Hey, Malkin, I'm over here. Okay, gone. They're going down 2-man break. But they got him again. I always liked Malkin. I wish they would have got rid of him after their last Stanley Cup because his value was tremendous. Now you pay him, another couple $1 million to keep the line again. It's a great tradition. It'll look good in the record books, but how's it look in what we're doing? That's what I say. And then as far as the Pirates, look at what they've done this year at being almost a 500 team. The baseball's been good. There's been ups and downs. And I agree with Rhodey and Chip. We need the bullpen, and we got to see what happens with Ozuna. He's supposed to heat up. He started the last week or two, got a home run and a couple hits. So what I always say with all our teams and our fans, we always have hope alive. We always think we're going to win the next day. We drink our 3 rivers of water. You don't want to drink from those rivers, and that's the taste I get in my mouth with thinking we're going to win. All right, we got to move on to Smoking Jim Frazier, Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
All I got to say,
Okay, that's it.
all I got to say is the Dallas Cowboys haven't won anything since 1995. They're the most popular team in the world because every year they're competitive. The Pittsburgh Steelers are probably the second most popular NFL team next to Dallas, and it's because they are always in contention. And if you go down, we lived through the 60s. When it was
I didn't know if you
old,
did or not. I
it
didn't
was
know.
the same old Steelers. They were bad. Nobody came to the games. Some guys were Green Bay Packer fans at that time.
Yes, I was.
And don't
Till
wanna
'69.
don't want to relive that, or the Chicago Cardinals, or some of the other bad teams.
No, but I love the Packers. I'd love to see teams like that.
Yeah, but you didn't want to see the Steelers. in
Why
the
would
60s.
I?
Yeah.
They had coaches that were drunken buddies of Art Rooney. May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
There was no curse.
But everywhere I go, people want to know.
If you blow out the mic, you're in trouble.
Everywhere I go, people want to know the top 10 point guards. My top 10 NBA point guards. Number 1A, Magic Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
1B, the Big O,
That's 11.
Oscar Robertson. Number 2, Bob Cousy. Number 3,
Oh, you're counting. You're going from top to bottom.
Yeah,
you
I'm going
confused
from
me.
top to
Okay, I got
bottom.
you.
Going
That's
from top to
12. That's
bottom.
12 picks already.
When you're this heavy at the top, you don't go from bottom to top.
That's
You go from
12.
top
That's
to bottom.
12 picks for all of you counting as top 10.
Number 2, Bob Cousy. Number 3, Isaiah Thomas, my good friend. Number 4A, Pistol Pete Maravich. Number 4B, Allen Iverson.
That's 14 picks.
Number 5, and he should be higher, but I've never seen him as a point guard, but he was one of the greatest players ever, Jerry West. Number 6.
You never saw him.
I saw it. I didn't see him as a point guard. I never viewed Jerry West as a point guard.
How young? You were too young.
But Jerry West was great.
You were too young.
Yeah, too young. Number 6, Russell Westbrook. 6B,
We got 15.
Stephen Curry. Number 7, Walt Frazier. Up goes Frazier. Number 8, John Stockton. Number 9, Steve Nash. And number 10, White Chocolate, Jason Williams. Plus, he married a girl from Brentwood.
Was Penny Hardaway a point guard?
Yeah, Penny probably should have been on the list.
If
would have been
Shaq
higher
wouldn't have
had
ditched
not for the
him
injury.
in Orlando, those two together were something else. But then
What'd you
Shaq
say,
took off.
Steve?
The injury.
Yeah,
that
the
injury,
injury.
that, you know.
Yeah, little Penny stayed
That would have
healthy.
made his top 10, top 16.
Little Penny stayed healthy.
He would have had
What
16.
I find
on that
interesting
list.
about that list, I don't see a lot of the guys from today's game where they claim that these
Thank
guys
you.
are so much
Yeah.
better. They're more athletic. They're more skilled. When it's actually the opposite.
I agree with
so
you.
ridiculous. The
agree
game
with
has been cheapened
Yeah.
by the way it's developed and evolved
I agree
to
with
what
you,
it is
Steve.
now. So
Smoking Jim agrees with you.
I'm
This
glad
is
everybody
rare.
likes my list.
No,
I
there
don't have
was
a problem with it at all.
there was 15 on there.
Bama Barbie loves it.
There
No Dennis
was
Johnson, though. No Dennis Johnson, DJ.
Yeah, he
Boston
was
Celtics.
pretty good. He could, even not top 10 though. on my
Probably
list.
not. He
yeah,
did
but
so much
Smoking
talent
Jim,
around
if you
him.
show
Not when you got
the
white chocolate.
if
Not
you
when got-
show the list, his top 10 list has 15 people on it. So we got to ignore it. Paul Haley, or wait, Chief McElroy said Malkin Price is right. Yeah, because he's old and done. Paul Haley, Smoking Jim, Rogers' legs and speed are 43 years old, while his brain is 30. Paul, thanks for that. We needed that. Thanks, Smoking Jim. You made some sense there. But the list was too long. All right, Raging Roadie time right now. Let's go.
All right, so as I was flipping through the headlines, sports headlines today, I said nothing could be more ludicrous. The headline, Johnny Manziel wins his MMA debut.
No.
He beat a 38-year-old social media influencer. Nothing could have been more ludicrous than that headline, right? Wrong! The Penguins re-signed Geno Malkin. What are we doing here? What are we doing? 40-year-old Geno, listen. Okay, first of all, that's a real indictment of the fact that they don't have anybody clearly in the minor leagues who's ready to step up for a guy who's been in Geno Malkin. Look, did he have a pretty decent year last year? I guess so.
A
But
point
these
a
are the
game.
kind of guys you kind of want to move on from. Look, it's a sentimentality thing, I guess, or the real reason we all know. No, Sid wanted him back. End of story. Sid wants to play with Letang, and he wants to play with Geno until they can move right on to the rest home league.
Together.
Right?
Yeah.
They're going to go in all there together and play at the rest home. They're going to,
Tiddlywinks. They'll be
the
playing
Cranberry
tiddlywinks.
rest home against the Mars rest home. They're just going to start playing. And Geno will be turning over the puck there too. There's going to be somebody on a
the
walker picking off a puck at mid ice, and
Maybe the Sewickley home.
it's ridiculous. Look, here's the thing look at the teams that are in the finals. Okay, Vegas, Montreal, and Carolina.
How about
out
how
of
young
out of those
Carolina
three?
is?
Okay, but here's
Yeah.
the thing. I've been saying this a while in the NHL. NHL, sometimes it's speed, sometimes it's trap, sometimes Now, you talk about Florida Panthers the last 2 years have won a cup. 3 of the 4 finalists now.
Yeah.
They're just a bunch of big, they're talented. There's no stars. They're 4 evenly separated, evenly distributed lines. Right? And they beat the heck out of you. That's how you win in the NHL. The reason I didn't talk about Colorado, they have a couple of stars, and guess what? They're down 0-3, Jim. So you either get on board with this, or you keep signing Geno Malkin. What are they doing?
We heard you.
Oh, my God. I'm not being loud enough, because I just, that staggered me. I'm like, look, I have nothing but great. I love Geno. I love Polamalu until he couldn't cover anymore. But time to move on. Again, I don't know what their plan is. I don't really understand what they're thinking.
Here's how simple it is to me. You don't think it's about the money. They were just bought and sold, and it was because they kept the 3. And guess what? They sell out every game.
They want to sell. But you know what else? You know what else sells a lot of tickets? When you win playoff games and when you go to Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, but you got to put in
you know
the
what
effort.
I mean? The star power in the NHL, that era is done. It may come back, and God knows we've been blessed to have star power in this town over the past 40 years. But that's not what wins games now. So we talk about the Steelers. I'm sorry, the Penguins are just there to, I guess, sell tickets. That's going to fade away real quick when they're 10 games under 500. In November.
The only
I'm telling
reason
you.
I'll disagree is the Boston group doubled their money on an investment keeping those guys alive. And you got a fan base,
I guess.
I won't say they're simple-minded, but when you can keep buying these jerseys and do that.
I guess you're smarter than I am.
I mean, this is why Smoking Jim goes, I do this when we talk sports.
I
Look at the gambling behind all the sports. Look at the PR with this. Look at now we got Pittsburgh Sportsline. And who owns that? The Steelers and the Pirates. And it doesn't even look like a professional network.
It's the same philosophy, Steve, we were talking about with the Steelers, right? It's like,
No, that's
for hockey there,
I'm ready to get younger.
I am very, very, very much ready to turn the page. You want to be a playoff team? Get rid of everybody except for Sidney Crosby just build around him.
I disagree. Ben Kindle is my man.
Oh, yeah, Kindle. Well, there you go. Keep guys like Kindle.
18
Who
years
else do
old.
they have? Who else do they have besides Kindle
There's
in the
a couple
pipeline?
of-
I keep talking
Mantha
about
was
these guys.
good, but-
Look what happened. This typical what happened to him in the playoffs. It's his whole career. But I have to say, as you might have been able to assume, I was a little
assumed it.
staggered
Let me
when
get the
I
ringing
saw
out of my ears.
that headline today that they signed Geno Malkin. I didn't know whether to cry or wind my watch.
Well, I
as
heard
the
it on the
late, great
radio.
Mike Lang might say.
I heard it on the radio on Madden's show, and I'm with Drew, and I shook my head.
It's just absolutely unbelievable to me. It would be like re-signing Terry Bradshaw, after the 1983 season. That's exactly because we need to sell Bradshaw jerseys. Bring back Franco while we're at it.
Yeah, but his
Tell him to
elbow-
put his Seahawks uniform
This
back in the
is-
closet.
hey,
Come back. We need to sell jerseys.
Steve would have loved it, but he knows his arm was bad.
He knew that left throw against the Jets across his body.
Yeah.
He knew. He said he felt that pain.
Doesn't matter. Sells tickets.
No, but he knew.
He knew he was done, and he said he was actually comfortable with it at that point. It was a great
Right.
play.
We didn't need Dan Marino. We had Cliff Stout. We didn't need Dan Marino. We could
Steelers went
take
from
Gabe Rivera
83
instead.
83 to 2004 with no quarterback.
That's right.
Yeah.
They
21
could have had a
years.
pretty good one.
21 years. Ariba, Roberto Clemente. All right, we're moving on. Steve
Thank
Crisani, what are your thoughts now?
Well, I'm going to issue a challenge for the next time we're here for the 4 of us. Okay, just looking at the way sports is today and how it has evolved with the internet and then eventually social media and sports media and those things there.
Can you throw gambling in?
So no gambling in
Okay.
it. Here's what I want. I want you to go back from the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s only. And I want you to come up with 6 guys that you would say, if this guy played today, where you could go on any social media platform, any sports platform, news platform and watch their highlights, they would look at him and say, "This has got to be one of the greatest players." So it could be football, baseball, basketball, hockey. 6 guys from the 50s through into the 70s, and say, "Wow, if that guy." And I'll make an example of one. Just say like everybody knew Walter Payton was just one of a kind, but if you could have gone on and seen every highlight and every week that he played, every handoff that he took and all that, and just come up and say, "Wow, this guy would have benefited so much from what we have today, and his greatness would have been elevated." Because I got into a big conversation on Facebook about Clemente with that, because he is to me, the ultimate example of it.
Tell them about the World Series when the world saw him, right?
Yeah, I mean, the
In
announcers
71,
in Baltimore were like, I can't believe, they were like, this guy, they could not believe how good he was.
He only
But
hit
they didn't see him.
414. Yeah.
They didn't see him in a regular season. They didn't play American League teams. And the only way you saw him in the National League is if you were at Dodger Stadium watching him play, or at Cincinnati watching him play, or you were here and the fans here knew what he was.
Yeah.
But, and it's Pittsburgh, small market, all that. But he's a shining example of that, because they didn't see him.
Right.
They didn't see him go out there in right field, take a base hit away from someone, throwing him out of first base effortlessly like it was nothing.
Can I ask you a question though? On that rules. So like, what am I trying to say? Joe Green, when he was drafted, was 260 pounds. Mm-hmm. So you're not saying 260-pound Joe Green. You're saying 330-pound Joe Green. Right? You kind of have to apply it to the physics and standards of today.
Because they all sit there like, look, because they say, the players weren't as good then. And Smoke a Jim, you answer this question for me right now. If we plucked Joe Green as a senior in high school, in what would that be? He was drafted in 69, so 65? And put him as a senior going to become a freshman in college, what do you think would he be like in the NFL in 4 years after the improvement in sports medicine, nutrition, training, and everything else?
That was my question, right? Putting today's...
but you sit there and look at these guys, and you see the way they played, and you see the ability and the greatness that they flash, and say, how those guys would they have benefited?
Here, I got
from
one.
Everything you pull a video up and see them on YouTube.
In my opinion, I got one that'll knock everybody out of here. Jim Brown.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just watch one season that he played. Mm-hmm. Pick any season out of his career, just any. I've seen
1,800 yards in 12 games.
Right. Just pick.
It's insane.
One season with 12
games. And he's an example of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we all just pick 6 guys.
I picked Jim Brown.
And all that.
Gail Sayers.
Gail Sayers, another one.
Well, the funniest thing of Jim Brown is back in the 80s when Franco was getting ready to beat his rushing record, but he never did. Yeah. He did that thing on TV, like I Challenge You. And the last challenge was a 40-yard sprint. And Franco took off so far ahead of him, Jim Brown conveniently went, hamstring! Oh, hamstring! I thought that was just hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it would be interesting to see if you had the type of sports media with all the platforms out there back then. That would be good. So you see a guy like Sammy Ball throwing a watermelon down the field on a rope to someone, because, you know what I mean? And the field conditions aren't what they are today, and
how about our local
else.
guy that the Steelers cut, Johnny Unitas?
Yeah, Johnny Unitas. Yeah. Wilt Chamberlain. What Wilt Chamberlain did was unbelievable.
Well, to your point, a lot of maybe not the stars, but the rank and file guys had jobs in the off season, right? So to your point, what if these guys are doing,
and they didn't,
year-long training?
Look at Andy Russell as a financial guy.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, he made millions for people.
I thought he was a rock climber.
Andy Russell.
I'm gonna cheat. There's a guy who I've always said this, where the Steelers blew it, and every time I hear Cower gush about Lamar Jackson, I get so irate, because he had Cordell Stewart, and who was probably could have been better than Lamar Jackson. But who did he hire? He hired Kevin Gilbride to make him a pocket passer.
Yeah.
You know, and that just
You remember the game against Denver
killed
in the
me.
playoffs? Remember that game?
when he threw
They were
3
down
interceptions.
at the goal line, and they could not stop
That
Bettis.
is all they had to do was
Give
run.
him the ball. No, what are we going to do? He throws the ball in the end zone. I don't blame Cordell for that.
No.
If
If anything, have Cordell run the ball. Yeah, I agree.
Romanowski was like,
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, nothing made me
Let me
hate a
ask you guys
professional
this.
athlete more than
because
Romanowski
I know we
that
got to
day.
get the machine.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart when these guys who was great, like my favorite player was Romanowski. Why would you come out and say you're on steroids? That just killed your legacy. And you'll never make the Hall of Fame. You know.
Do you think he was a Hall of Famer?
He 5 Super Bowl rings. Romanowski was. Listen, you watch film. He tried to kill people in that
Yeah.
field.
Well,
You
a lot
know?
of them were hurting people. Look at Dick Butkus. Look at other guys.
Well, who's the guy I love for the Oakland Raiders and the Lau Alzado?
Yeah.
Another one. I thought Lau Alzado was a Hall of Famer. Steroids. He'll never make it. Lau Alzado was tough, man. He was mean.
All right, little bump in the road on location. Nothing on location coming up. You know, we appreciate you watching the show, so we could do an open discussion on anything you want. I like the subject you brought out there.
I just
Different
think that,
players from different
I mean,
eras.
Just to sit there and say, wow, you know,
Hold it,
just
one
the-
thing, Raging. Here, Paul Haley. Raging Roadie. Steelers are happy selling out only 8 home games with a mediocre team making money. There are 41 games in hockey, more to sell out.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hence, money.
I guess if they think that guy's going to sell them tickets. I don't know.
That's what, hey, Boston did it. The Boston
Winning.
group did it.
I mean,
Right here in
They also won
Pittsburgh,
3
you know.
cups.
Dr. J,
Yeah.
if you had YouTube back then,
Oh,
the things that you missed,
Oh, yeah.
that even
No doubt.
Michael Jordan said
a good call.
that's who he copied himself
yeah.
after.
Yeah.
He saw the creativity of what he did.
how about
And
David
he, you know,
Thompson?
It just,
David
you know,
Thompson's walking in the air.
Yeah, Julius Erving wasn't even allowed to slam the ball in his first 5 years. He started in the ABA. You weren't allowed to dunk the ball.
Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double for his career.
Right.
That's insane.
That's insane.
That's insane.
And that was a different game they played back
And
then.
the great Jerry West.
I still go
You
with
never
what I
saw.
said with Joe Green. I mean, I'd love to see what that guy was just so
Yeah.
a man amongst boys. I
you
mean, he was
realize
just so
quick
dominant.
as all
He
he
You
transformed a
realize he made the Pro
franchise.
Bowl every year. Okay? And the thing that people don't talk about, in 75, I think, he injured, he had a
Yeah.
pinched nerve.
That's when he
And
was
he
hurt.
had no, I think it was his right
His
arm.
right arm
he
was
lost
dead.
all his strength. It
Yeah.
was dead. He still made the Pro Bowl every year, and he was still dominant, but he wasn't what he was before, which was off the chart.
Yeah.
See, that's why I get mad about
We got to
what's his
end it
name.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
from
make a
Pitt,
great
that they think he's better. No.
You make a great point there. I'm all about Joe Green. That's when I become a Steeler fan. Stay Joey strong.